Hello, folks, and thanks for returning. We're going to talk today about the cognitive awareness portion, that is, where is the problem? Ultimately, we know there's a problem. The question is, how do we get to it and how do we resolve it? How do we solve the problem? So, as I mentioned in the introduction, our problem lies a little bit deeper than just our thoughts. Our thoughts are created and our actions come from our thoughts. Our beliefs actually create the thoughts. What we believe in generates the thought patterns that we have for that belief. So our problem isn't that we have thoughts that are bad or thoughts that are incongruent with a happy life. The fact is that if we don't have beliefs that are in line with our desires for a happy life, then the thoughts are going to be generated to not equal that. So we have to start at the belief concept. What do we believe? What exactly is stopping us from believing that we deserve a good life, a happy life, a healthy life? We can start by looking at how we created our belief systems. So in general, when we're born, we don't really have a belief system as far as we know, as far as we consciously know here on Earth. So when we are first introduced to our parents, these are images that we get to see through our eyes. And they are smiling and happy and joyous, but we don't understand what that really means. We just see their actions. That's only as soon as we can see as a child. We hear the way they talk. If they're upset, it produces an energy or a vibe that gets us to feel uncomfortable. If they're happy, it creates a vibe that tends to give us a little more comfort. So when we first start learning about words, about what things are, who is who, it starts generating our awareness of words. Our thoughts turn those words into sentences and actions and situations. When our parents tell us that we should not like a person because of whatever reason, that slowly instills a belief system in us. It's difficult as a human being to create your own belief systems when you're guided by different people that have a different belief system. So if you have one parent that believes in God and another parent that does not believe in God, our information that we're getting can conflict and make it difficult for us to choose a belief system. Ultimately, it comes from the heart. What we believe, what we know to be true and that will serve us best is when we know it feels good, when it's heartfelt, when we can sense that our heart is in the right place or the heart of others is in the right place. So the information they give us will tend to be in the right place. If we are introduced to negativity and stress and ugliness and fighting and arguing and cursing and anxieties, then that's going to tend to create our belief system that is the normal, that behavior that we see and we hear and we learn from is considered normal and proper for behavior. What tells us that it's wrong? What tells us that it's right? When we understand the concept of happiness or sadness, we can then equate certain things that happen around us to fall under those categories. But as an infant, we're moldable, we're pliable. That's the time when we're going to learn what life starts to look like. So unless we have the right guidance, then we could stumble quickly and easily. So the belief system that we create, if we believe in God, then we follow thoughts and words and actions that keep us in line with our God belief. If we believe in money, then our thoughts, our actions, and how we behave are driven by money. So everything has to come to a head, and as we try to heal ourselves from this despair or this depression or just this simple difficult life or the dark night of the soul, depending on where you're looking, we have to be able to put a change into our belief systems. We have to change our belief systems so that it's congruent with what we want and how we want to feel. If you want a happy life, you've got to believe that you deserve it. If you want a loving relationship, you've got to understand what loving relationships are, and you've got to believe that you're deserving of it, and that somebody that gets involved with you is deserving of it as well. If you believe you need a car and a house and a job and work 40, 50, 60 hours a week to be happy, then your beliefs are going to create that because your thoughts are going to be generated and geared towards making those belief systems come true. So the question will be, how do you change your beliefs? How do you adjust in order to get to where you want to be? The first thing is you have to know where you want to be. You have to actually create an understanding for yourself that you know where you want to be in life. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be sad? Do you want to be continuing down a path of difficulty? If you can honestly tell yourself that you do not want that negativity anymore, and that you're really looking and are excited about living a life filled with happiness, joy, love, and abundance, then your beliefs will start following along with that. So in order to believe that you're worthy of love, you've got to believe that love is something you can attain. So when we start to align ourselves with those desires or the direction in life that we want to go, we start creating these belief systems that allow us to walk that path. So we need to dig deep inside ourselves to really understand what our belief system is. That means we have to pull everything back from one layer to another. We've got to look at an emotional event that happened to us. We've got to look at how we felt about that. What was the emotions driving that event? What were our actions behind it? Then when you pull that down, when you go to from your actions to your emotions, you might actually go back to your thoughts. How can I find my thoughts? How can I reflect on my thoughts? We do that by pretending we are a fly on the wall. We can take any situation that we've created in our lives that were very traumatic or intense, and we have the ability to rewind it in our head. The problem is that we tend to rewind it in our head in the same way that we remember seeing it, but that's from our own perspective. What helps us look at things a little differently is the ability to look at it as if you were a fly on the wall, or somebody else, or a video camera recording it, and watching it again from a different angle. In this case, we're trying to listen to the words that we choose in our discussions, our arguments, whatever we're saying. We'll notice that we tend to use certain words when we're upset, and we tend to use certain words when we're happy, so that when we review something that we've been discussing or talking about with somebody, even if it's in anger, we can see the choice of words that we have. Those words are chosen through the thought process in our brain. So if we're thinking that we don't like the person we're talking about, we're then making quick choices through the brain and regurgitating words that may become hurtful to that person. So again, we come back to the same origin. Well, what created the thoughts that made me choose the words? It's got to be a belief system that the person that you're talking to doesn't deserve respect, or that you might not deserve respect, or that you might not be happy if they say what they're going to say. And when you hear what they're going to say, it's not what you wanted to hear. So the beliefs that we have in our mind will generate those thoughts that produce the words, and those words create emotions and actions. So to be able to figure out how you can change your belief systems, you have to see how your belief systems currently work. And by dissecting it, like being the fly on the wall, it gives you a chance to be able to really understand how your brain works and where your beliefs lie. And only then can you change anything about your beliefs. You have to know what your beliefs are in order to make any changes to them. So you can see the ladder starts at the bottom rung with beliefs. From your beliefs, create thoughts. From thoughts, create emotions. Emotions create words. Words create actions. And then actions are the answer to our behaviors. And that's how we live our days. So it's up to us to recognize the best we can, moment by moment, not expecting too much out of ourselves, but at the same time being accountable and responsible for everything we do. That nobody outside of us has ever caused us our problems. That it all starts within. It's all a product of our belief system.